Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. We are from Group 6 that will be present about regulation of halal pharmaceutical. Okay, our group members is Muhammad Khairun Hazid bin Abdul Fattah, Muhammad Syahmi bin Shukri, Muhammad Amirul Amin bin Ahmad Khalil, and the last Muhammad Faris Himam bin Abdul Rahman.
First of all, this is our introduction. Malaysia is the trailblazer in the certified halal pharmaceutical industry for its global halal pharmaceutical standards, which is more than half of its population composed by Muslim. In 2012, they produced the world's first halal certification for pharmaceutical. Their new halal standard has expanded the scope for halal certifying bodies to address the demands in biologic and the search for halal vaccinations. The Malaysian government has introduced a comprehensive set of guidelines called the Malaysian Standard of Halal Pharmaceutical General Guidelines MS2424-2012. This provides pharmaceutical companies with the necessary guidelines to benefit the health and safety of the general public. It also facilitates the successful entry of domestic pharmaceutical manufacturers into the global halal pharmaceutical market. Additionally, their processes are in accordance with halal regulatory bodies, therefore providing peace of mind to the halal-conscious consumer when purchasing pharmaceutical products. Malaysian Pharmaceutical Society's President Amrahi Buan said that for pharmaceutical products to be halal certified, it has to meet the necessity safety, efficacy, quality, and hygiene requirement. Next, we go to the literature review. Historically, people use medicines from different origins, such as plants, animals, and minerals. Pharmaceuticals are also referred to as medicinal product, dosage forms, or drug products, which means any compound or preparation used for the treatment or prevention of disease. They are intended for human or veterinary use, which is subject to control by health legislation in the manufacturing country or in the important country. Halal pharmaceutical contain ingredients that are halal and are manufactured in compliance with Islamic legislation. In order to be halal approved, all ingredients must be traceable. Products shall not contain any ingredients extracted from pigs, tobacco, blood, predators, human parts, or insects. Animal-derived ingredients must come from permissible animal slaughter as per the method prescribed by Islamic law. Within the, within the existing pharmaceutical industry, there is still plenty of work to be done to create a consistent awareness around halal. To develop the halal pharmaceutical market, halal certifying bodies need to ensure that it undergoes a well-regulated and harmonized halal accreditation procedure. Additionally, education is vital. Medical practitioners need to be aware of the contents of the medication they prescribe and inform the general public accordingly. With the growing awareness of halal pharmaceutical, countries like Australia, US, and Singapore have started investing in halal pharmaceutical. And then we go to the objective. Firstly, to study the halal in pharmaceutical industry. Secondly, to study the regulations that have been used in halal pharmaceutical industry. And last but not least, number three, to analyze the issue of halal pharmaceutical regulation in industry.
Assalamualaikum. I am Amirul. I would like to present about Objective 1, which is to study the halal in pharmaceutical industry. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Amirul Amin bin Ahmad Khalil. I would like to present about halal in the pharmaceutical industry. Okay, recently, the development of the halal industry began to get the attention of the community and even consider a new industry that can generate an economy, especially in countries where the majority of the population is Muslim. The focus of the halal industry now is not only limited to food and service, but also growing in the healthcare industry, which is halal pharmaceutical. Okay, the halal pharmaceutical industry in the Malaysia is seen to be rapidly developing through various studies and researches to produce halal medicine and free from any dubious element. Okay, Malaysia itself has become a pioneer in the world actively developing the halal pharmaceutical industry in order to take care of the need and want of consumer, especially for Muslim. However, at the same time, pharmacies and companies that make price of the pharmaceutical product also need to play a role in understanding the ingredient found in the medicine to ensure they are safe and halal to use. Both consumer and manufacturer each need to know their responsibilities to ensure that the drug taken are halal, safe to use, which is does not affect health, clean, which is do not contain contaminate substances or resources that are prohibited in Islam, and the last is quality, which is comply with prescribing standard. Okay, in Islam, halal is obligatory, but in the context of medicine, pharmaceutical, or medicine that contains non-halal element are allowed to use or eat if there is no alternative. This is based on one of the branches of the element of maqasid Sharia that is emphasized, which is the preservation of life. Okay, however, with the increasing population of Muslims around the world who are now more informed and smart to make choice, the demand of product and demand for suppliers with halal certified pharmaceutical product will definitely increase. Definitely increase. Okay, we go to the meaning of halal. Okay, the word halal come from the Arabic word, okay, which is halal, yahillu, hillan, wa halalan, which mean allowed or permitted by Islamic law. In the Manjid dictionary, it is defined as something that is allowed by Allah SWT, whereas according to the dictionary, halal mean the law that allow an act to be done in Islam. It's a law which is not forbidden by Islamic law. Okay, the halal word that has the opposite meaning of the word of haram. Okay, the same goes for the Muslim food, beverage, and consumer good guideline, where halal itself is the main purpose for those guidelines to achieve the target, which is to produce halal product. Okay, from the point of view of Islamic terms, halal is defined as something that must, which is allowed on Islamic side. Okay, based on the definition, it can be concluded that halal refer to something that is required by Allah SWT, so that people can eat, use, deal, and so on. Okay, based on opinion, Sheikh Dr. Yusuf Al-Qadrawi defines halal as something that is obligatory, bound by binding prohibition, and permitted by Islamic law to do. Okay, a thing is considered halal in Islam as long as there is no scripture or evidence to show that it is haram. Therefore, the scope of halal in Islam is not only focused on food and consumable, okay, but also cover the economic system, finance, and all aspect of human life. It also including in terms of human health, or we can refer to it as a halal pharmaceutical. Okay, we go to the next slide. It shows the meaning of haram. Okay, haram is something that is forbidden to do, where haram is one form of taklifi law. Okay, according to scholar of jurisprudence, there are two definitions of haram, which is in term of limitation and fat, and in term of form and nature. In first is in term of limitation and fat. Based on opinion, Imam Al-Ghazali conclude that it is haram with something demanded by the Sharia. Okay, to be allowed through a definite and blinding claims. Okay, the second is in terms of form and nature. By opinion, Iman al-Baidawi conclude that haram is an act whose perpetrator is punished. Okay, haram in general mean it is not allowed or forbidden to take it in Islam. Among the food that are forbidden in Islam include carcass, blood, pig, and intoxicating substance, and so on. In addition, any product contaminated with illegal sources is also banned from taking it. This slide shows that the haram is forbidden in Islam and must be avoided by Muslims. This shows the importance of Muslims to know that knowledge of halal and haram is important in life, especially in pharmaceutical aspect, to ensure that product of pharmaceutical use is halal, clean, and safe and quality before use. Okay, this slide show halal according to Islam. Okay, as we know, halal covers all aspects of life, including what we eat, wear, and use. Halal for food aspect mean the sources obtained is halal, which is from halal animal are eaten and slaughtered according to Islamic law. The manufacturing process is clean and free from pollution. Storage method and distribution are not mixed with sources whose halal status is doubtful. Okay, halal in terms of clothing and good aspect means that the material used during the manufacturing process are free from illegal element or not doubt its purity status. For example, is the employee need to ensure that the uniform and or clothing to be worn must be free from haram elements such as free from the effect of dot saliva, nudge, and so on related. Okay, since every Muslim is obligated to look for what is halal, product that are certified halal are very important for Muslim. Okay, not only that, halal product also benefit for non-Muslim because halal is comprehensive, which is safe, clean, and quality, and also meet the set standards. Thus, consuming halal status product help a personal life to be better. This show the importance of halal to a product and is an obligation for Muslim uh, in uh, in ensuring that what is consumed is halal, which is allowed by Islamic law. Okay, there are words of Quran and Hadith that call and command Muslims to be careful in searching the halal and leave the haram. Among the words of the Quran and the Hadith that touch on relate the halal, first is from Al-Quran. The word of Allah SWT in Surah Al-Mu'minun, verse 55 is Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Ya ayyuhar rasul kulu minat tayyibati wa'malus salihah inni bima ta'maluna alim. Okay, the meaning is Allah said, O messenger, eat from the good food and work righteousness. Indeed, I am knowing what you do. Okay, the second is from Hadith, uh, which is uh, wa an Anas bin Malik an Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam qala talibul halal wajibu ala kulli muslim. The meaning is finding what is halal is an obligation on every Muslim. Narrated by Al-Tabrani in Kitab Awsat. Okay, the text of the Quran and Hadith above show a very strong agreement that Islam is very concerned about halal and haram because all that it's halal will bring benefit while haram thing will bring mafsadah, which is damage on human being both in the world and the hereafter. Okay, this slide show the example of company that produce halal pharmaceutical product in Malaysia, which is Duo Pharma by Ted Berhad. Okay, this company is one of the well-known and trusted brands where every product produced by this company is famous with their product that can be helpful for good health and the ingredients are made from nature and safe ingredient. Okay, this product not only benefit for Muslim buyers but also for non-Muslim and all buyers. Okay, for the next, Dua Pharma Biotech Berhad responded to the country's aspiration in leading the halal development agenda as the first pharmaceutical company in Malaysia to receive Malaysian halal certification in 1999 for its product, namely chems, flavors, proviten and naturals. This achievement that proven that Dua Pharma, in addition to producing high quality pharmaceutical product and meeting the legal requirement of the Ministry of Health Malaysia in terms of safety, effectiveness and hygiene, is also able to ensure that its product meet the requirement of halal guideline without additional cost. Besides that, more than 300 dual pharma biotech pharmaceutical products have successfully obtained Malaysia Halal certification based on this standard. This initiative creates a new era in the production of pharmaceutical product in the market where halal element for pharmaceutical product can be identified and certified through the Malaysia Halal logo that display on consumer health product such as health supplement and medicine or therapeutic product that do not require any prescription for a doctor or pharmacist. Okay, consumer now have more power to make wise choice with the availability of halal alternative in the market.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Faris Hilman bin Abdul Rahman. Today I want to presenting about objective 2, which is to study the regulation that has been used in halal pharmaceutical industry. There are many regulations found in industry pharmaceutical, so among those we can get is regulation. The first is the rule of dangerous drug 1952. The second, the Drug Sale Act 1952 revised 1989. The third, Medicine Advertisement and Sale Act 1956 revised 1983. The fourth, Pharmacy Registration Regulation 2004, and the last is PICS Regulation. Okay, the first is the Rule of Dangerous Drug 1952. There are 26 legal rules in the Dangerous Drug Regulation 1952. It's a Malaysia law made to provide further a better provision for the regulation of importation, export, manufacture, sale and use of opium and other dangerous drugs and substances. Next, the matter outlined in the rule are the manufacture of medicine, the supply and ownership of medicine and their preparation. Among the things to follow is that it must have a license and authority. Okay, based on the rule of dangerous drug 1952, there are various regulations that have been applied to the pharmaceutical industry. Therefore, any pharmaceutical industry must comply with this rule to avoid any legal misconduct. There are 26 legal rules in dangerous drug regulation 1952. It's a Malaysia law act which was enacted to make further and better provision for the regulation of the importation, exportation, manufacture, sale and use of opium and certain other dangerous drugs and substances, to make special provision relating to the jurisdiction of courts in respect of offence they are under and their trial, and for purpose connected therewith. The first thing stated in the regulation is that it tells about the passage and the beginning. That means that this rule is more to the introduction and definition of the rule, that is how the rule starts and how it's made work to the industry. Next, the thing outlined in the rule and the manufacture of medicine, the supply and position of medicine and preparation. Among the things that need to be complied with is that it must have a license and authority. Beside that, It that also need to be under direct personal supervision and in the prison a registered medical practitioner. Okay, the second is the Drug Sale Act 1952 revised 1989. The Poison Act 1952 revised in 1989, which is also cited as Poison Act 1952, was gazetted by the Malaysian government via Ministry of Health in order to regulate in the importation, possession, manufacture, compounding, storage, transport, sale and use of poisons. For the purpose of the Act, poison means any substance specified by name in the first column of the poison list and include any preparation, solution, compound, mixture of natural substance containing such as substance other than an accepted preparation or an article or preparation included. Only authorized persons shall process any physiotrophic substance for a lawful purpose and obtain according to the provision of regulation. Okay, the Poison Act 1952 revised in 1989, which is also cited as Poison Act 1952, was gazetted by the Malaysian government by Ministry of Health in order to regulate the importation, processing, manufacture, compounding, storage, transport, sale and use of poison. In Malaysia, the pharmacy law is regulated and controlled by several related acts. The regulation including the Poison Act 1952 and its regulation. The Act is applied throughout Malaysia. Appropriate regulation promulgated under the Act impose more effective control of product produced or import in order to conform to accept standard of quality, safety and efficiency before they are registered, and that all premise, use, all practice employ to manufacture, store and distribute the product are in compliance with the required standard until they are delivered to the users. Okay, only authorized persons shall process any physiotrophic substance for a lawful purpose and obtain according to the provision of regulation. Import or export of physiotrophic substance are only allowed to a person providing a valid and subsisting authorization and is according to the term and condition in import and export authorization relating thereto and shall be authorized. Okay, the third is Medicine Advertisement and Sale Act 1956 revised 1983. The Medicine Advertisement and Sale Act 1956 was published as Law of Malaysia Act 290 by the Malaysian government to provide the basis for the control of advertisement of medicine, appliance, remedies, skill and service that are related to medical and health claim and also to regulate the sale of substance recommended as medicine. All advertisement of medical matters, health product and service must be approved by the Medical Advertising Board prior to advertisement. The Medicine Advertisement Board is empowered by a law to set policy and guidance of this act in order to settle misleading advertisement and to ensure safe self-medication practiced by members of the public. Okay, the fourth is Pharmacy Registration Regulation 2004. The most common pharmacies position are that a community pharmacist or a hospital pharmacist where there is instruct and counsel on the proper use of adverse effect of medically prescribed drug and medicine. This act will regulate all form. A registered pharmacy conducting business shall to the extent business related to the storage, retail, production and consolidation of poisons, dangerous drugs, and therapeutic substances comply with the following condition. A. The first is, in each set of premise where the business is conducted, business shall be conducted in a trust by a registered pharmacist himself or some other registered pharmacist. The B. The name of certificate of registration of the person by whom business conduct in such a manner on any premise must be clear or displayed at the premises. Okay, the last is PICS regulation registration. PICS registration, which is Pharmaceutical Inspection Corporation Scheme or Pharmacy Inspection Convention, contain 9 specific sections of drug product. The last is PICS registration, which is Pharmaceutical Inspection Corporation Scheme or Pharmacy Inspection Convention. This rule discusses the guideline of good manufacturing practice for medicinal product part 1 and good manufacturing practice for medicinal product analysis. Okay, for that the chapter 1 is discuss about pharmaceutical quality system, and chapter 2 is personnel, the chapter 3 is premise and equipment, the chapter 4 is documentation, chapter 5 is production, chapter 6 is quality control system, chapter 7 is outsource of activities, and chapter 8 complaint and product recall, and the last is self-inspection. Okay, that's all. Okay, the next is the Hukum Islamic Value of Medicinal Use. Okay, the Conference of Rule in the 126th meeting held on 24 February 1983 agree with the opinion of the Fatwa Committee, National Council for Islamic Religious Affairs, National Council for Islamic Affairs, Malaysia on the drug problem, and decide the following, namely, abuse drugs are prohibited but the use of drug is permitted for medicinal purpose permitted by Sharia, but before it use must seek advice from a specialist who is a doctor, and its use should not exceed the dose that has been approved by the doctor, and such as use is allowed because it is based on the following fiqh law. Okay, based following the fiqh law, the first is ad-darurat tubihul mahzurat, which is necessity knows no law, and the second is iza tu'arid mufsadatan rawi azamiha dararan biirtikab akhfahuma, which means when there is conflict between two things that can cause damage, the greatest damage has to be taken into account by committing the less damage. Okay, for the issue regarding the use of gelatin and alcohol in pharmaceutical product, based on National Fatwa Committee of Malaysia, the National Fatwa Committee at the 8th meeting in Kota Kinabalu, Sabah on 24 and 25 September 1984 discussed the issue of gelatin in medicine and decide as follows. Department of Islamic Development Malaysia 2010. The use of gelatin in medicine is for now because there are emergency. Well, if someone cannot buy a gelatin, then the law is illegal to use. Okay, the skin of pig, cows and animal bone is not a major source of agar-agar. According to the majority of scholars, the use of prohibited substance or meats with prohibited for a medical purpose is prohibited. However, the use of drug is made with fish in addition alcohol in emergency is allowed according to Ibn Rusdah, which is Shafi'i section in Sunan Abu Dawud. Okay, the second is Fatwa of Brunei. Based on the fatwa of the state of Brunei, it is discussed about mixing drug with alcohol and gelatin as follows. Department of the Mufti of Brunei Darussalam. A lecturer from the Faculty of Science, University of Brunei Darussalam, said that original gelatins come from animal. if the animal is a halal animal, and it also need to look at the slaughtering process, whether according to the method prescribed by Sharia or not. But if it's come from pigs, it is automatically forbidden to use and know as a naj, which is najis, is gelatin come from an illegal sources such as pork or not. It is mixed in drugs become najis and are forbidden to use.
My name is Muhammad Shahmi bin Sukri, and today I will be presenting about the issue related to halal pharmaceutical. First is the issue of rulings on using vaccine based on Sharia and Maslahah. Vaccine and immunization program should be seen in one of the contexts of curing disease and also as the way of prevention for critical disease. Accusation that relates the content of vaccine with non-halal ingredients cannot be enlarged, as Islam also prepares few steps in the issue of curing disease that are not be done without any studies and observation. Even there will be Muzakarah Fatwa Committee of the National Council that is discussing and enlighten about the usage of vaccine suites with the methods that is thought in Islam as vaccine and immunization involved with the death issue, and it cannot be taken as a light problem. Dr. Muhammad Hafiz Mahidin stated that many people confuse regarding the case of scholars' view about ruling treatment or acceptance of treatment, as some scholars said that it is permissible to get treatment or important to get treatment, or some scholars said that it is better to not get any treatment and put belief in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. However, all of the difference of opinion is applicable on the disease that is not critical or dangerous or can be cured by itself. However, in the emergency and critical disease such as polio, tetanus, and human papilloma virus or HPV, all scholars agreed that rulings on getting treatment is mandatory because protection of life or hifzun nafs is one of the elements in the Maqasid Sharia. For example, is the usage of vaccine for meningococcal meningitis for meningitis, which is inflammation of the lining of the brain and spinal cord. The vaccine was addressed by the 53rd Muzakarah of the Fatwa Committee of the National Council for Islamic Religious Affairs of Malaysia, which convened on 27 November 2002 that Muzakarah ruled about the use of vaccine for meningococcal meningitis mencevax taken from cattle source should be permissible, while the use of a vaccine for meningococcal meningitis monoimmune including pig components is prohibited. Next is the supplement capsule issue. The reason why gelatin is used despite of other ingredients in capsule production is because for fat-soluble vitamins, gelatin has been described as the strongest stabilizer and emulsifier. Gelatin, however, is manufactured from sections of animals such as skin, bones, and joints from animals such as pigs, cattle, and buffaloes, where gelatin is a collagen component. There are some halal issues related with the ingredients that is used in the production of capsule for supplement and medicine. For the problems of gelatin sources in this world, there are only 2 gelatin processing plants with halal certification recognized by JAKIM and the Malaysian Veterinary Department. And for the processing of capsule, by this time in Malaysia, there are only 2 capsule manufacturers that have obtained Malaysian halal certification. According to the 2008 market report, 44% of the gelatin produced in the world is from pigskin sources, which is much higher than other animal sources. This is because in terms of processing pig gelatin, it is easier and cheaper than gelatin produced from cattle. If we see how can these 2 plants be able to accommodate the production of gelatin capsules for the use of millions of Muslim consumers in Malaysia. Regarding this issue, Muzakarah Fatwa Committee of the National Council for Islamic Religious Affairs Malaysia, which convened for the 8th time on 24 and 25 September 1984. A research was run and discussed whether capsules currently available on the market or in hospitals and government clinics are manufactured from a mixture of gelatin ingredients obtained from abroad that are used as an ingredient to avoid spoiling of the medication. The National Fatwa Muzakarah Committee then has agreed that usage of gelatin in medicine today is an obligatory because of emergencies. If there is a halal material that will keep the drug from rapidly spoiling, pig gelatin cannot be used. For this time in Malaysia, the easiest way for consumer to recognize the source of medications taken from halal sources is to find drugs that are licensed under the Ministry of Health of Malaysia and have halal certification and halal logo on the label that have a MAL number. Next is the issue of JAKIM halal logo on vaccine. Currently, JAKIM halal certification for drug-based product is only open to 3 categories. First is traditional medicine, second is nutraceutical drugs, lastly is non-toxic or OTC drugs. Full cooperation between JAKIM and the National Pharmaceutical Control Bureau results the 3 categories of drug have been given permission to use the halal logo on the packaging label. The main condition for the approval of a product is must be safe to use and have obtained the status of good manufacturing practice or GMP. However, for the controlled medication that is starts with code MAL 2002544A, it is a fully controlled drugs as available in the poison schedule according to the Poison Act 1952 and its amendment. This category of medicine is found in Ministry of Health and private premises. It must be registered and obey to legal regulations from time to time. There are 1,674 drug brands that is listed in the Ministry of Health Drug Formulary Book, and it is manufactured by various companies both in Malaysia and abroad. JAKIM halal certification is not required for this type of controlled medicine for several reasons. First, it will cause an unhealthy competition among product manufacturers, as they will be racing to get a halal certificate and claiming that they are the best and recognized. This will put aside the fact a drug that is in the same category to treatment. For example, if metformin medicine for diabetes from company A is halal certified, then the patient will urge the doctor to give metformin only, while the patient should be given insulin injection and it is more suitable to him. Second, there will be a conflict between doctors and patient in choosing the medication that must be given during illness, while in an emergency, Islamic scholars allows the use of any type of medicine that has been proven of its effectiveness without looking the halal haram legal status of a drug. Medicine containing unlawful substances can be used on patient if an urgent atmosphere can cause harm to the patient if it is not given. The qawaid of fiqh method will be used, which is ad-darurah tubihul mahzurat, which means something forbidden is obligatory when there is an emergency. Third, there are more than 1,600 types of drugs that is produced in domestically or from or foreign are used daily. It is also beyond the ability of JAKIM and Ministry of Health to research or investigate in detail every one by one of the drugs medicine. Although finding the halal is obligatory, but in this case, we do not have to ask more. It is sufficient for us to trust that a drug has no illegal substances as stated in the product insert or product information. It is based on the qawaid of fiqh method, which is al-aslu fil ashya al-ibaha, which means the legal of everything is permissible. Lastly, these controlled drugs do not need to be advertised like other commercial drugs or supplements. Sales and exhibition, distribution and use status must be addressed by a registered Ministry of Health officer. All stages of the drug status have been already regulated with legal implications, and they are not handled by irresponsible parties.
Last but not least, for the conclusion, with more Muslims becoming curious about the origins of their medication, the demand for halal pharmaceuticals will be increased. This provides an opportunity for the pharmaceutical industry to look into producing halal pharmaceutical products and to position themselves to become more competitive in penetrating the global halal industry. The regulation and act in halal pharmaceutical must be amended or strengthened to avoid any harm to user. Although the problems regarding use of pork in certain drugs and vaccine cannot be avoided, the government must make sure the drugs or vaccine can be made by use alternative ingredients that halal and not be made with non-halal ingredients. The issue regarding halal pharmaceutical that arise hopefully can be solved as soon as possible and not repeat in the future. That's why governments must focus on to manage the issues well and in the same time get the trust from their citizens. That's all from our group.